When were you diagnosed? And how long have you had endo? Did it take you a while to get your diagnosis? A lot of the time, healthcare ignores Black women. Can you have kids with endo? How is it like dating with a chronic illness? How many surgeries have you had? Is it hard working with endo? Cookies, it's your girl Iya. How are you? We're doing beautiful, magnificent, splendid. If you don't see this arm moving much during this video, just mind your own. Just mind your own. I had a little mishap with some birthday bingo this past weekend for my girly pop's 25th birthday. Let's just say me and push-ups are just not friends right now. So I'm gonna keep her nice and still so I don't strain her more than I already have. Anywho, it is endometriosis awareness month. I figured that even though I already have a video on my page talking about my endo journey, and obviously like I make TikToks about it, I make YouTube shorts about it, I make Instagram reels about it, I figured that there's probably still questions that people may have about the condition since it's not a well-known condition. It's very under-researched. So I figured what better way to address your guys' questions than with the Q&A. So I have stage 1 endometriosis. It's a very minimal case, at least based off my last procedure. And basically, if you don't know what endometriosis is, it's when the tissue that's similar to the tissue that lined your uterus, it grows outside of your uterus. So, yes, it's painful. It's a very debilitating, mentally exhausting, frustrating condition to have. It varies from woman to woman. You have women like myself who have a very minimal case of it, but they're experiencing all these crazy ass symptoms, like fatigue, nausea, pelvic pain, thigh pain, migraines. Like I have like a novel full of symptoms that I experience. But then you have women who are like stage 4, for example, and they have no symptoms, like they're asymptomatic. So it's a very complex condition that I wish the medical field would spend more money and research on. Alrighty, let's get right into it. First question is, when were you diagnosed? So I was diagnosed December of 2022. The way I got diagnosed was through a diagnostic laparoscopic procedure. It's very minimally invasive. Essentially what they do is they make 3 incisions. So they do 2, one on like each side of your stomach, and then they do 1 in your belly button to put a camera through. I don't know how long the procedure was. I didn't ask. I just remember being awake and then waking up. So yeah, I can't give you a full like answer as to how long the procedure was, but I will tell you that like if you ever do get one, if you have endo and get a laparoscopic procedure done, it's very minimally invasive unless they go in and there's more than they were anticipating. Then that's when it might need to become, you know, more invasive. When I got my diagnosis, I had this huge sense of relief in a weird way. I would say it was very bittersweet because when they told me they found endo, I was like, finally, like, I have an actual diagnosis. Like, this shit isn't in my head, because for the longest time, as I was going through all these symptoms and I wasn't getting a diagnosis, or I was just getting slapped on like birth control, for example, left and right, I was like, is this all in my head? Like, what's going on? Like why can't a doctor just give me like a proper diagnosis? Why do they just keep slapping on birth control and like it's not working? Like, it was very frustrating, um just going years and years and years without proper care. So when I asked if I had endo after my surgery and they told me yes, it was like but then the other part of me was like, oh shit, like I have endo. I am chronically ill. This is crazy. It has been a journey, to say the least, but I am so grateful um, that I just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed until I got the answer that I needed. Because if I hadn't, like, I would still be stuck in this predicament of just not knowing what's going on with me and feeling just defeated. Okay, next question. How long have you had endo? So if we're being technical, I've had endo for 13 years altogether. Like, this is how long I was experiencing symptoms for, plus my actual diagnosis. But if we're just doing it based off my diagnosis alone, just like 2-ish years. Yeah, it you guys, I cannot emphasize enough like how debilitating this condition can be at times. I have times where I'm completely fine, like even if I'm having a flare, I can go on about my day easy peasy lemon squeezy, and then I have times where I am down bad. I am very down bad. I am so grateful for my family, my friends, my job, for everyone just being so supportive and accommodating, because it's not easy. But having a chronic illness, let alone feeling like you are a burden to everyone else around you because of your chronic illness. So yeah, if you've been there for me throughout this journey, I love you so much. Thank you for always being there for me. Question number 3 is, did it take you a while to get your diagnosis? A lot of the time, healthcare ignores Black women. I've been waiting to talk about this one. So yes, it took me a very long time to get my diagnosis. I can't tell you guys how many times I was in and out of urgent care, the emergency room, and I got a plethora of different reasons as to why I was having these symptoms. It was, oh, it's just your period, like don't worry, it's normal. Oh, you're constipated. Oh, it's gas. Oh, maybe you're just stressed. Oh, you ate something bad. Oh, you drank too much. Like, it was so frustrating. Like, I knew something was wrong with my body. I knew for a fact something was wrong with my body. But for whatever reason, doctors did not think anything was really wrong. Dealing with some of these doctors felt like I was in with a toxic ex. Like, these doctors know how to gaslight the shit out of you. I was just appalled. I was baffled how I would always leave urgent care, leave the emergency room feeling 10 times worse than when I came in, because they didn't give me the proper care that I needed. Like, y'all, my pain can get so bad to the point where I need narcotics. I have been given morphine. I have been given oxycodone. It gets that bad. Sometimes Tylenol or ibuprofen, those don't help. But that's normal. It's normal to be in that much pain. Alright then. It is so important as a woman of color to scream and shout until someone listens to you, because like I said, these doctors will gaslight the shit out of you, and you know your body better than anyone else. So if you have a doctor telling you that, oh no, you're fine, you look them in the eye and be like, no, the hell I am not. You know your body better than anybody else, so don't let any of these doctors gaslight you, because they do a very good job of it. If you're in the medical field and you are taking offense to me saying that, oh, like doctors gaslight the shit out of you, well, one, I'm talking based off my experience and the experience of many women with endo. We have been gaslit for years with this condition. So if you're getting offended by me saying this, do better for your patients. Simple as that. Or maybe you are a great doctor. Maybe you do advocate for your patients. Maybe you really do push and push and push to get them the care that they need. Great. I love that. And I really hope that you can take your skill assets and sprinkle that on to your colleagues who may not do that. Question number 4. This one's a good one. Can you have kids with endo? Short answer is yes. Long answer is I will not know until I actively start trying to conceive, which is not anytime soon. Not anytime soon, don't get me wrong. I love me some kids. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love and adore children. I dream of being a mother one day. I always say the earliest I would have a kid for me personally would be 28. I'm 24 right now. So that's the earliest I would have a kid, but I won't be surprised if I don't have a kid until like 30, like 32. Um, but yeah, essentially with endo, it can cause infertility. So I'll be completely transparent with you guys. I do have those fears that I will not be able to carry my own baby. I do sometimes spiral about it because I'm like, oh shit, like I'm 24 now, and in the next like 5 to 8 years, like I would love to be a mother. And it's scary. It really is scary having like such a big dream for yourself, but then also knowing that your body may not allow you to have that dream. Based off like the last test I've done, like, you know, checking my follicles and like all this other work, it's not anticipated that I'll have a difficult time getting pregnant. But again, like I have not actively been trying to get pregnant. Um, so I don't fully know for sure. Um, but one thing I have been doing is kind of just like already mentally preparing myself in the case that I'm not able to get pregnant. Um, yeah, and then it sucks that I have to do that, but I do have to be realistic because I'd rather prepare myself now than not prepare myself at all and then be disappointed when it doesn't happen. Anyone who knows me knows like I'm Mama Ia. Like I love caring for people. That's just always been the type of person I've been. I've loved caring for kids since I was a kid myself. I think I changed my first diaper at the age of like 7. Like I've always loved taking care of children. I've always never wanted to be a mom someday. So whether it's me carrying my own baby, going the IVF route, surrogacy, adoption, like I am gonna be a mother. Like I'm gonna find a way to be a mom because that is something that I've always dreamed for myself. It just sucks that I do have to kind of consider the possibilities of like what if I can't get pregnant. This next question is a good one. How is it like dating with a chronic illness? Y'all want tea? Y'all want tea? So when it comes to dating with a chronic illness, I'm gonna keep it honest with you guys. I really only end up having a thing with someone that I already know or that I know of. So 9 times out of 10, they already know what's going on with me, so I don't have to like rip off that band-aid. Um, the last thing I had with someone, it was someone I was friends with beforehand. So because we were friends, because we FaceTime all the time, because we saw each other, because we texted all the time, like he knew what I was going through. But this was actually before I even got my diagnosis. So yeah, I was like dealing with all these symptoms. I would confide in him about it. Once we crossed that boundary, as friends and got ourselves into like a little situationship type gist, we actually had stopped talking. It was actually around the time that I was supposed to be having my procedure. So even after my procedure though, I did like reach out to him just to, like let him know because like it was something that like I was experiencing with him still being in my life. So I don't know, like a part of me was just like, let me just like let him know. And like he obviously responded to me saying that he's really glad that the procedure went well and everything. But yeah, when it comes to like dealing with someone that you already know, like it's not difficult to rip that band-aid off. But let me tell you, when it comes to to dating strangers. So I went on a date like 3-ish weeks ago with this guy, and I remember spiraling, being like, how the hell am I gonna bring this up to this guy? And granted, like you don't have to disclose something like that on your first date, but this was just a personal preference for me. I felt that it was really important to just let them know because you never know how people are going to react. And I wanted to make sure that, let's say this was someone I was going to end up, you know, being with. Obviously, I'm still single, so you know how that went. I'm kidding. Our date went well. He's a really, really sweet guy. Um, But yeah, I just felt like it was really important for me to just tell him, so he knew what he was getting himself into potentially. So I remember like conversation was going very, very well during our date. So I was like, you know what, let me just rip the band-aid off and just like tell him. And I did, and he responded very well to it. And I think he had like a question or two about it. And yeah, I was like, oh shit, like, okay, it's not as intimidating as I thought it would be to let a stranger know that information. But at the same time, I was like, wait, I talk about this shit all the time. Like, why am I so nervous? But I think I was so nervous because when it comes to a partnership with someone, it's like y'all are gonna be in this together, like y'all for lifers. Like, it is really important, I think, for them to know at some point what's going on with you, so they know how to prepare themselves, and also so they know how to best support you. Even though things didn't progress after that day, I am grateful that was my first experience, like letting someone I didn't know that I have endo. Again, even though I already talk about it all the time, it's different when like you're going on a date with someone. um but yeah, I'm glad that was my first experience doing that, and that it was a good experience, and that just gives me the confidence to be able to do so with any other date that I have down the line. The next question: how many surgeries have you had? So I've only had one so far. The first one was when I got diagnosed December 2022, and I have another procedure this month, actually on the 24th. um I'm very nervous about it. Even though it's a procedure that I've done before, obviously, I am still very anxious about it. Only because the surgeon is going to be looking damn near everywhere for endo. He's going to be looking in my ovaries, in my uterus, my bowel, my bladder, my abdomen, like looking everywhere. And yeah, so we shall see. It's possible that it could be worse than stage one, because I don't think that they did a deep dive like this during my first procedure. So it was more superficial of like what they could see, versus the surgeon, because he's an endo specialist, he's gonna do a deeper dive. So fingers crossed that it's not worse than stage one, but at the same time, if it is, at least I know now. And I am glad that, even though I'm anxious, I am glad that the surgeon's gonna be doing like a really deep dive into it. And this is not me shitting on my OBGYN or anything like that. It's just I feel more comfortable at where I am in life right now with my endo. I just feel like it was really important to get it done by an endo specialist, like someone who breathes and lives in endo. Um, so yeah, I am very anxious, but also like ready to get this procedure done, like by a specialist. All right, last question. Is it hard working with endo? Yes. Yes. It's very hard, y'all. It's very hard. I can't emphasize this enough. My job is like, I could go on and on and on and on about how accommodating and supportive they've been. Like, any support that I need is like I don't even have to like ask for it. It's like they're already like giving it to me. Obviously, with the field I'm in, I work in ABA, so it does require me to be in person. But also, as a program supervisor, I am capable of working from home as needed. Like, I can do like indirect work from home. If need be, I can also do my supervision like remotely, which is super helpful as well. But you know, my bosses are amazing. Like, if I'm having a flare up, I'll just text them like, hey, having a flare up day, like I really need XYZ from you. And they're like, say the word, we got you. And it's been so helpful and has just taken so much stress off of me. And they're constantly telling me like, whatever you need, you let us know. Like, we want to support you in any way we can. Like, ugh, I'm crying. Like, oh my god. No, it's really helpful having such a supportive group of people to work with. And on top of that, with me starting school, I promised myself, like, this time around, I'm getting whatever accommodation the school will give me. Even though it's online, like, I can still get accommodations because, again, like, endo be kicking me in the butt sometimes. So I need whatever accommodations that is gonna best support me in my academic journey, like as I'm getting my master's. So I scheduled an appointment with the accessibility center, and they were able to grant me a time and a half for all my exams. And then anytime I can't get an assignment done, I just have to submit what they call a flexible assignment plan, and it's essentially just letting the professor know like how I plan to get it done, um, if it's like past the deadline. So yeah, anyone who has endo, first and foremost, you don't have to disclose it to your job, but I would recommend at least just giving them a heads up, like, hey, like I do have this medical condition. These are the accommodations that I need, and how they respond will tell you everything you need to know about that company you're working for. If they respond great, you're like, cool, I can stay here. If they don't respond great, you might need to find another job, which I understand with this current job market, super difficult. So I always recommend, like, obviously, like finding another job and having it lined up before you leave your current job. But yeah, you definitely don't want to work in an environment where you're not being accommodated and you're feeling like you have to push through your chronic illness, or you feel like you're a burden because of your chronic illness. Like, you're not too much. You're never too much. And then obviously with school, same thing. Whatever accommodations you can get, you go searching for that shit. Like, it does not hurt to schedule an appointment with your school's accessibility center just to see it, because you never know. Like, I really didn't know what accommodations I really needed. If I'm being honest, 'cause I've never done this process before. But as the woman and I were talking, I was like, oh yeah, like this would be helpful. Okay, no, this would definitely be helpful. So yeah, I really hope this gave you more insight on what I go through when it comes to having endo. Anyone out there who is experiencing endo, I'm sending you all the love in the world. I know it's not easy. I know it is not easy. It is hard. It is a constant battle, but we are strong as fuck. Like, we are badass warriors navigating our everyday life and still going through this. So I'm sending you so much love. If you're someone who is wondering like how can you support someone with endo, I always recommend, one, asking them what they need from you, um, two, just being understanding, being loving, being caring, and three, doing your research. Again, it's a very under researched condition, so doing your research will probably be very helpful, not only for that person, um, but for you as well. So you just educate yourself a little bit better. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If there's any videos you would like to see from me, please don't hesitate to let me know. Love you, Pookies.